Now let's talk about Drake, because right now he's breaking records at a pace that's hard to keep up with. Since dropping 3 albums simultaneously, Iceman, Habiti, and Made in Honor, Drake has cemented himself as the rapper with the most #1 albums in history. On top of that, he became the first artist ever to debut 3 albums in the top 3 spots on the Billboard charts at the same time. But there's another layer to this move that people are still talking about. Releasing all 3 projects at once allowed Drake to fulfill the remaining obligations of his contract with Universal Music Group. So this wasn't just a musical statement, it was a calculated business play, and a pretty clever one at that. And he didn't just show up quietly. Drake came out swinging at almost everyone. He took shots at his longtime rival Kendrick Lamar. He went after ASAP Rocky, suggesting he was getting outclassed by, in Drake's own words, a singing ninja. He also targeted Rick Ross, DJ Khaled, and DJ Mustard, with Mustard specifically getting called out on Too Hard, which was considered too direct for radio. Jay-Z and Pusha T also found themselves in the crosshairs on that same track. And that's where things got interesting. A DJ by the name of DJ Head came forward claiming he personally censored those particular disses because West Coast DJs simply weren't willing to air tracks aimed at certain figures they're close to. Which raises an obvious question, because those same DJs had absolutely no problem spinning Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, a song where Kendrick was openly and repeatedly calling Drake a predator. But now, apparently, the same energy doesn't apply when the target is someone they actually respect.
Edits of Too Hard for the radio that you can play without disses in it. For the DJs who feel conflicted, if you go to djhead.com, it's just a DJ Head edit that you can play free of charge. You can download it.
And the hypocrisy there is hard to ignore. Drake also took aim at J. Cole, and his grievance with Cole runs a little deeper than just a lyrical exchange. Drake's frustration stems from the fact that after everything that went down between him and Kendrick, J. Cole never reached out. No call, no message, just silence from someone Drake considered a genuine friend in the industry. And that friendship had real history behind it. The two collaborated on First Person Shooter, a track that, interestingly, was originally intended to be a joint record between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, but Kendrick turned it down, and J. Cole stepped in to fill that spot instead.
Yes, Kendrick is supposed to be on that song. If y'all don't know, for a long time, every time Drake do an album, he would send Kendrick something to get on. So this is going on behind the scenes, like I'm just letting y'all know. So anyway, but Kendrick has not liked Drake for a long time.
According to sources, Drake genuinely wanted that collaboration with Kendrick, but Kendrick wasn't interested, and for good reason from his perspective. The two had been taking subtle shots at each other for years, so the last thing Kendrick wanted was to shake hands and play nice, even if Drake was signaling that he was ready to move past it. So Drake pivoted and brought J. Cole in instead. But when First Person Shooter dropped, Cole made a move that, intentional or not, stirred the pot. He name-dropped Kendrick, framing it as a compliment, a nod of respect. The problem was the context. The entire record had Drake and Cole positioning themselves as the top 2 in the game, which naturally placed Kendrick at number 3, and Kendrick felt that. He didn't take it as a compliment, he took it as a ranking, and that's what pushed him to fire back on Like That, the record he made with Future and Metro Boomin. That one song is widely considered the spark that ignited the entire 2024 rap battle between Drake and Kendrick. And right when things heated up, J. Cole went completely quiet. While Drake was being attacked from multiple directions and facing pressure from rappers and industry insiders alike, Cole was nowhere to be found. That silence cut deep, especially given how close the two were. But the rap beef wasn't even Drake's only battle at the time. Behind the scenes, Universal Music Group CEO Lucian Grange was reportedly working against him. The reason? Drake had been pursuing a larger deal outside of Universal, and Grange wasn't about to let that happen without a fight. So, according to reports, he backed Kendrick's campaign, not out of artistic loyalty, but as a strategic move to diminish Drake's market value and make it harder for him to walk away from the label. So while Drake was fighting on the outside, the very label he was signed to was allegedly undermining him from within.
Universal gave him $400 million.
For what?
For as an advance on his royalties.
Okay.
Well, he recouped that within the year and a half, something like that. Was already in renegotiations. Then Sony came along, said we'll give you $500 million, and he had leverage. Universal was like no, and then that's what this case is about. Okay, did you release Kendrick and sabotage me to get my numbers down so that I didn't have the leverage to get this money, and because I was going to go to Sony, you wanted to ruin it? And I mean, that's what we went through with Mariah, was they were trying to devalue her brand at the end of the Sony run. You know, the J-Lo thing, the Ja Rule thing, all of that stuff was to devalue her brand before she jumped labels.
And this isn't the first time something like this is played out in the music industry. The head of Sony at the time, Tommy Mottola, who was also Mariah Carey's ex-husband, was accused of actively trying to derail her career, allegedly using Jennifer Lopez as a tool to do it. The claims were that J-Lo was used to lift Mariah's ideas and songs, which is widely believed to be the root of the tension between the two for years. Lucian Grange, it seems, was running a very similar playbook with Drake, using Kendrick as a pressure mechanism to punish Drake for daring to explore a bigger deal elsewhere. And that realization shifts the whole picture, because what looked like a straightforward rap battle on the surface had a lot more industry politics quietly running underneath it. Drake clearly felt the same way, which is part of why he pursued legal action against the label. And then there's J. Cole. In Make Them Pay, Drake alluded to Cole seeking outside counsel from Jay-Z, and that, according to Drake, is what caused Cole to quietly step back from the whole situation and cut off communication entirely, which once again puts Jay-Z's fingerprints somewhere they probably weren't supposed to be. This lines up with a broader pattern. Jay-Z's behind-the-scenes influence has come up before, and Drake clearly believes he played a role in what went down. He's been making that known through his music. In Whisper My Name, he made it clear he'd rather pocket $500,000 than sit across from Jay at dinner, because in his view, there's simply nothing left to learn from him. In Too Hard for the Radio, he went further, referencing Jay-Z's name appearing in connection with the Jeffrey Epstein files, suggesting that certain people were doing a lot of traveling back then, and that some names getting redacted doesn't mean the story disappears. He also took shots on Jig Is Up, a title that's no coincidence, since it mirrors the exact language Nicki Minaj used when she publicly called Jay-Z out. Jay-Z's longtime nickname adds another layer to why Drake chose those words specifically. He's calling him out directly and doing it in a way that's hard to misread. Jay-Z has largely avoided engaging with any of this publicly, but based on how persistent Drake has been, that silence may not hold much longer. Drake also dropped visual subliminals that had people talking. Some viewers were convinced one particular image was meant to represent Beyoncé. Whether that's the intended read or just speculation, something about it landed differently, and Drake clearly knew what kind of reaction it would stir. Then there's the ongoing back and forth with ASAP Rocky, and at the center of it all, as always, is Rihanna. Drake has never fully hidden whatever residual feelings he carries from that chapter of his life. His track Fear of Heights was widely read as a direct dig at her. Rocky fired back on Stole Your Flow, delivering a line that made it plain. He's got the girl, he's got the kids, and he's completely unbothered. Drake predictably couldn't leave it there. On Burning Bridges, he pointed out that Rihanna hadn't even promoted Rocky's latest single, which honestly raises the question of why Drake is tracking her social media activity that closely in the first place. As it turns out though, Rihanna eventually showed up for Rocky, posting a video in support of his upcoming tour, saying she had to bring the kids along. And the song playing in that clip? Some people think it contained its own subtle dig at Drake. Whether intentional or not, it landed exactly the way those things tend to land. Drake also stirred things up by alluding to LeBron James having an affair behind his wife Savannah's back. In Make Them Remember, Drake made his frustration with LeBron clear. From Drake's perspective, LeBron switched sides, publicly embracing Kendrick's corner and even singing along to Not Like Us, a song that was directly calling Drake a predator. For Drake, that hit differently, because the two weren't just acquaintances, they were genuinely close friends, and that kind of public display felt like a real betrayal. Though, to be fair, LeBron has always had a relationship with Kendrick too, so his reaction may have been less calculated and more instinctive than Drake gave him credit for. But here's where the story gets more complicated. There have been long-running rumors, described by many as an open secret, that LeBron has had affairs over the years, and that Drake allegedly played a role in facilitating that lifestyle. The suggestion being that Drake, as a single man with unlimited access and resources, wasn't exactly steering his married friend towards better decisions. Some have gone as far as saying Drake was enabling the behavior rather than discouraging it. In the music video for Make Them Remember, Drake featured a model at the exact timestamp where he was taking shots at LeBron, and people were quick to connect the dots, suggesting she may have been one of the women linked to the infidelity rumors. Whether that's intentional or just well-timed editing, Drake clearly knew what kind of conversation he was starting. The irony that many pointed out is this: Drake clearly felt hurt by LeBron's disloyalty, but if the rumors are true, Drake spent years helping LeBron be disloyal to his own wife. Expecting loyalty in return from that kind of dynamic is, at the very least, complicated. Savannah James reportedly was never comfortable with that friendship, and honestly, it's not hard to understand why. Drake's lifestyle and LeBron's responsibilities as a husband and father were never going to be a clean fit. That fallout, looking back, was probably always coming. But stepping back from it all, Drake's overall bounce back has been hard to ignore. He's managed to fulfill his contract with Universal Music Group on his own terms, which was clearly the goal from the start. Whether he goes fully independent from here is still an open question. That road won't be without resistance. The industry rarely makes it easy for artists who try to break away from the system entirely. But Drake has never exactly done things the conventional way. So where he goes from here is genuinely worth watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if this one got you thinking, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.